I am Rob Kuestner. I'm a sports producer here at NBC 10, and I am pleased to be joined by the show producer of the fantastic, um, I guess, documentary series that you can see right now on our streaming channel, Peacock. Um, and it's so exciting. And also the director, Matt Howey. So Kyra Knox, Matt Howey, both with us. Thank you both for joining us. Spirit is the name. And Kyra, I'll start with you. For folks that are able to check it out, what can they expect to see?
Oh man, such a loaded question. Um, you can expect heartwarming stories. You can expect some tears. You can expect a lot of laughter from some of our participants in the documentary. And you can definitely experience that Philly, we don't back down energy from this. This is such a Philly story. And I really believe that the young adults, the kids, they're really going to tug at your heartstrings with this film.
Matt, being a Philadelphia guy yourself, what makes this a Philadelphia story?
I just think that from the first time I read the article in the Inquirer, it was a school that is going to be the first team in the history of the Philadelphia Public League to compete at the national championships, but they don't even know if they can go because they can't. They have zero budget. So it's a classic underdog story where it's like they could be the first ever, but they might not go because they have to raise $30,000 to fly 16 kids, two coaches, hotel. So we just thought that'd be a really interesting story to kind of be with them throughout the year and see them compete against teams with like much bigger budgets, fancier equipment, newer outfits. And I just thought that it'd be a story that would resonate with people in this city and throughout because it's a great underdog story that's, really not about can they go and win the national championship. It's just from like competing at the national championship and walking in this arena with thousands of people that they prove that they belong. So I feel like it's a great Philly underdog kind of story.
So, Matt, let me follow up on that because look, it requires somebody to believe in a project to get it where it now is, where it is streaming and it's available on Peacock. So, what were some of the ways that you were able, and what were some of the things in terms of feedback that you got from the folks at Peacock that said, we want to be a part of this project?
Well, it starts, Rob, with the belief that comes, my partner Tom Farrell, we start talking about the story, and then it takes somebody to believe and support it to get you out there in the field working it. And probably one of the biggest alums at George Washington believed in the story early on. Got Stanley Middleman, who's a part owner of the Phillies and started Freedom Mortgage. So Stanley believed in it, and then it was trying to grow this kind of support system around a project like this that are traditionally harder to sell, even though they're incredible stories. So we reached out and got in contact with Steph Curry, the Hall of Fame basketball player, and he has a production company that's got a lot of documentaries in the works now, and this story resonated with Steph. He really likes stories with faith, family, sports. So we have, Stan and Steph, and then we're ready to try to go and try and find a home for it. And Comcast and NBC gravitated towards it as a Philadelphia story with headquarters here in Philadelphia. And a woman named Caroline Kim really gravitated to the project. And then we started on a platform called Black Experience on Xfinity. And now we're proud for the next 2 years to be at Peacock.
So, Kyra, I want to get back to some of the emotions that you mentioned. You mentioned laughter, you mentioned serious moments, and I'm sure dramatic turns within the project. And these are young people, so they can really let it fly. I would imagine, I would imagine they don't hold back. Is that a fair assessment of what people will see?
That's a very fair assessment of what people will see. But I really credit that to our director, Matt. A director's job is to create a safe space for the participants in a documentary so they can feel free to be themselves. And I mean, looking at the footage and while I helped Matt craft the story, there were so many times that I would take my earphones off and I would start laughing with Matt about a scene that I just saw. So yeah, they're great. They're really, really, really great kids.
And
And
so I would expect because they're kids, and I have a daughter myself, like they grow up so different than how I did in terms of cameras. It used to be I'm not going to be myself, or I would put on because there's a camera there, and I would act a way that maybe I wouldn't normally act because the camera was on and rolling. I would, but that does not seem to be the case here. They seem completely comfortable, and that's who they are. Is the authentic version of the kids what we'll see?
Yes. Let Matt talk.
no, right, Kyra? I mean, I think it goes back to the very first day we went up there without a camera, um, and just asked if we could watch a practice. And then after the practice, the coaches introduced me to the kids who were all probably wondering who is this guy and why is he watching our practice? And then I sit on the mat with all 16 of these kids, and then they're just, hey, and I asked them what they want to see in a documentary, and they all are like, hey, can we do interviews? Can we do testimonials? Can we do this? And I was like, well, I was hoping to find three or four characters, and there's 16 in front of me, you know. And then what stuck with me from that ride home, from that first meeting, was what half of the kids said, and that was this idea of changing what the perception of cheerleading looks like. And I just thought they just gave us the North Star for this project. It's because it's not about, they're going to be huge underdogs when they get to Dallas. But if we can do what they say they want to do, then we have something. So that the thesis for the whole project came from these amazing 17, 18-year-old kids.
So I saw in some of the stuff that you sent me that the Eagles helped out, that they got a chance to perform at the link and they were in the NovaCare. What was the Eagles' involvement and what was it like for kids from Philly to get a chance to be where the pros play?
Yeah, and that was one of those flukes, Rob, where while we were filming, they got invited to cheer at halftime of a New Year's Day game between the Eagles and the Saints. And there's two boys on the team. The makeup of this team is incredible. There's 13 girls, two boys, and both boys they also play on George Washington's football team. And they're very good. And one of them has a brother who's an former All-American player in high school. So both boys are football players, diehard Eagle fans. So they're out there on New Year's Day on the sidelines taking pictures with Swoop or whoever anyone that comes over, and it's to this day they still talk about it. And then the nerves when they go out, and we're with them as they practice during the second quarter, and then we go down the tunnel, and you'd think they were about to play a game because they're so nervous when they go out, and they compete for, or they do their routine for about 4 or 5 minutes alongside the Eagles cheerleaders. And it was a really special moment, and we were so lucky to capture all that.
And I
So
think my favorite, oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say my favorite part of that as well is when Roland does his chant like, "Oh no, oh yes," like, and you just can feel that energy, amongst all of them. That was like one of my favorite parts during that.
Kyra, I'll just wrap up with this. What is something that you hope somebody that watches your series takes away? And when they think about Spirit, when they want to, if they have a lasting memory of watching it, what do you hope they take away?
Oh man. I hope that they take away passion. You know, these kids they didn't have, all of the things that all of the other cheerleading squads have, but what they did have was passion. They didn't back down. They gave it their all, and it's just a Philly story, period. And that's what I hope people take from it, that it's the passion, and like I said before, we don't back down energy here in Philly. And I really hope people also take away the heart of the story as well, because again, it's not because of Matt, it's not because of me, it's not because of the whole crew that this series is so beautiful. It's really because of the kids, and that's what I really want people to take from it: heart and passion.
And Matt?
Yeah, hard to top that. But the idea of just not giving up, because there's a lot of kids that people will get to meet and who have really difficult backstories, whether it's a father that was deported or a father that was murdered or a car accident that really almost killed a brother and a sister that are on the team, all these different things that happened. And a lot of these kids had reason to say, you know what, I'm not going to do this. So this drive and passion that the team has, I think is very infectious. And then I think from the two boys too, you get this idea of stepping out of your comfort zone. And both talk about that. Wow, we play football, but we also have a courage to also do cheer and to go on the split practices between both sports, get made fun of while they're at football practice. And they say, we don't care. We're about to get on an airplane for the first time, and we're about to go to compete at the national championships. So the maturity that they had at 18, I certainly did not have. So yeah, the drive, the passion, the hunger, and just the ability to say, look, we're going to go for it.
Yeah. And do you mind if I add to that,
You
Matt?
please do.
Sure.
And also you'll see a beautiful story of fatherhood in this. The is always this stigma of black fathers not being in their children's lives. And with our two young guys, I mean, you see that their fathers are there, and their fathers are supporting them, whether they're playing football or cheerleading. I know Roland's father said he gonna get a scholarship one way or another. like, so I also love the fact that the fathers are so present, in their sons' lives. So I just wanted to add that as well.
Well, you are currently on a shoot, and I really appreciate your time, Matt. I really appreciate your time. Congratulations to you both. And check it out right now on Peacock. It is Spirit. It is available, and every part of the series is available right now wherever you stream Peacock. So enjoy.